What is up, guys? This is Anarchy, and I figured that I would show you guys some of the emblems I have recently made on Black Ops 3. And then, if you guys are interested in any of them, I can send you a friend request, or you send me a friend request, and you can download them, or I guess I could attempt to do tutorials on these, but right now I'm just going to show you the 5 that I currently have. This one I am still working on. I've put maybe 15 minutes into it. I mean, nothing at all. So it's obviously going to be Captain America holding his shield. I haven't decided on the background or any of that nature yet, and we'll see. I mean, if it doesn't turn out good, I'll just delete it. No big deal. This one I literally just finished today. I was just fiddling around a little bit just to see what I could make, and of course, gotta love Mountain Dew if you're a gamer. No offense if you don't. But yeah, this one didn't take too long at all. I mean, it's just basic geometric shapes, triangles and rectangles, and then the text. And I think maybe it took an hour and a half, something like that. Nothing too extensive. This is the first emblem I attempted, and honestly, this one was basic geometric shapes once again. You just have the eyeball that you double up. And I mean, I'll go through and show you the layers on each of these really briefly. But basically, this one only took maybe an hour. It was really simple. I just wanted to throw an emblem up there real quick, promoting my channel. And this was the actual first attempt at a little more extensive emblem that I did. And I think it turned out pretty nice. You know, the hair's okay. There aren't exactly a lot of options for hair in this game, but I mean, I think overall it turned out pretty damn good. And I was able to put my little logo there, and then the YouTube. Usually, I mean, in Black Ops 2 you only had, I think, 32 layers, and this one you get 64 to deal with, and you have gradients as well as a lot of different patterns and materials this time, or shapes to mess with. And they even have materials, now I think about it. You can put little patterns and things on your actual design, your shape. You can put a pattern on it, which is pretty cool. So I am pretty impressed with the emblem editor in Black Ops 3 thus far. So I mean, I haven't done a lot, but I've done a few, and this is the one that I'm the happiest with. Yeah, it's a little R-rated, but it looks freaking badass. So I'm rocking this one currently on my character, and I think this one turned out pretty freaking awesome. I did run out of layers though, and I feel like I could have done a better job shading, but you know, it is what it is. I only have, like, yeah, it literally took 64 layers, which so did this one, but I was able to do, you know, a little bit more detail with it because it was up close. This one was a pain in the ass to make, but I think it turned out pretty good. Anyway, that was a quick overview of these 5 that this one isn't done, obviously, but the 4 completed ones. And let's just hop right in and take a look at some of these layers. So, I mean, I'm going to be real brief, but you can kind of figure it out yourself. Obviously, layer 1 is going to be the background, and then it's just a bunch of triangles, just thrown together, kind of like the Mountain Dew mountains. Really basic. Each layer, just threw a little bit of splatter paint on there just because it looks freaking cool, I guess. No particular reason. And then, you know, you can just put your little rectangles and then your text. And then, of course, at the very end, I had my own logo and then the YouTube logo at the end. So this one's like really, really easy. And then you can put a border on it. And I went ahead and did that with just, I made a rounded, I believe it was rounded. Let me see. Is it rounded? No, it's just a regular hard square. And you just push X to toggle the outline, and then you just line it up with the corners. And I ended up doing 3 of those in 3 different colors just to make it pop a little bit more. I mean, that's that. Let's see. This one, really basic stuff. And it was, like I said, the first one I did, and I didn't realize that like all that you can do with the gradient. So I could definitely reduce the layers on this one significantly with what I've learned thus far, but there's no point in doing it. I mean, it looks fine the way it is. So I haven't really messed with it, but honestly what took up the most layers is all the text. Like, oh my god, it took up so much, like so many layers. So that was the big chunk of that one. But I mean, everything else, I mean, like I said, just the eyeball, like white and red, to give it the little bit of depth. And the same thing with the YouTube logo, and then with my ARP logo. Really basic stuff. Alright, moving on to my first project. I went ahead and tripled up the background. So I had the yellow, black, and then the pink. And that was just to make it look, you know, three-dimensional. It looks pretty cool. The rest of this stuff, I mean, I had to put that in there to do the color of her skin and basic stuff like that. And most of this towards the front is like different patterns for her hair. And like I said, I'll show you. You have all these patterns available to you, which is freaking awesome. Like, you can zoom them in, zoom them out, just like in Black Ops 2, and adjust it however you want for whatever you need. And this edition was amazing. Same with the gradients. And if you don't know how to do a gradient, I mean, just, you know, leave me a message or whatever, a comment, and I can do an in-depth video on how to do this stuff. But I'm by no means an expert on these emblems. There are people making ones way better than mine. But I am pretty proud of this one, and then the other one I'm going to show you last. But basically, you know, just using ovals, circles, blah, blah, blah. For the eyelashes, I just used a tool that looks like a little furry bush, the half short hair. Pretty simple stuff. Took a couple of those. I did gradients on the eyelids, and then also for shading. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The lips, you know, you have to use different shapes if you're going to want it to look the way you want it to look. But you can simplify all this stuff if you want. You can just put 2 half circles, or even in just a circle and make it an oval with a line through it. You know, however basic you want to get, however realistic you want it to look. And then all the hair is just random patterns, and I just tried out different gradients on them, so the color doesn't always perfectly match up the way it should, but I think it looks alright. So yeah, that's pretty much that one. And then I guess I'll quickly go over this. I am still working on it, as you can see, but I'm already at 31 layers, so that's going to be an issue. I may not have to finish this one up, so we will see. But it's just basic circles and then a star, and I just put shades on each one of these, as well as gradients on the eye. But yeah, there's not much to talk about on this one because it's nowhere near done. And finally, my favorite thus far. As far as the background goes, all it was is a gradient shade from deep blue to white. I used the radial gradient, and it kind of gave it like a veneer. And then I also just used this pattern. When you look at it, it looks like you picked a whole bunch of squares, but they offer you this pattern that you can use, and it looks awesome. I just went ahead and made it pink because it matched pretty well with the rest of the atmosphere. And then for her hair, I literally used the exact same tool every time. It was, I don't know what it's called, but we'll find out here in a second. It is the mane, and it works really good for hair, surprisingly enough. So you just kind of give her that Knuckles hairstyle, I guess, Sonic and Knuckles, and you just, you know, put it wherever you need and adjust. Like if you want it behind her head, you just put it before her head, blah blah blah. Self-explanatory stuff here. For the eye, you know, I like the gradients on the eyes, so I almost always run gradients. Actually, I have done, a gradient every single time on every eye I've done so far. It gives it that shine, and it looks amazing. So that's just her hair and her head. For the shape of her head, I used Shield, which worked pretty good for the rounded chin, and then I ended up inverting it so that it was actually in the opposite of what it shows there, and all you do is hit the back button in order to invert things. What else? Moving on. For her mouth, I mean, just 2 basic shapes, and then I just used the black arcs for any detailing that I wanted to do with, whether it be the nose or the corner of her mouth or the little dimple on her chin. I'm not going to go into detail about the arm and the upper body because that was a pain in the ass, but I'll just slowly go over this and you can kind of see for yourself as a variation of different shapes, and it was a bitch to do. No lie. As far as her ass goes, you just use 2 semicircles, which is pretty easy, and then for the rest of her hips, I just used the heart shape. I mean, that was actually one of the easier things to do, but the shading was a pain because it kept, you had to get your layers right because one would cover up the other and so on. But yeah, that's pretty much that, and then you just use the smiley face for her panties as well as whatever this little half ninja star thing is called. Oh, imagine that. Half star. Nailed it. And then obviously there's the stars and then some more smiley faces for any other details. And then just the text for my logo. Pretty simple, but at the same time, like, really complicated for me anyway. I'm sure some of you people out there are like, yep, this is cake, I can do this in a few minutes. But this took me several hours to do. It was by far the most intricate and extensive emblem I've done thus far. I'm sure I will come up with better ones in the future, but right now that one is my favorite. And then you can get a better view of it right here in my showcase. But I'm pretty proud of this one. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys what I've done as far as emblems go in Black Ops 3. If you have any comments or whatnot, questions, concerns, feel free to comment down below. I will get back to you whenever I can. So if you want any tutorials or anything of that nature, just let me know. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.